Hi everyone, my name is Amarythn. Welcome back to my YouTube channel, and I am the host of the BICENTENARY Meditation Project, where we provide meditations for children to meditate on the sacred text of Baha'u'llah. And so in this video, I wanted to share, as you are perhaps you're in the process of creating the meditations, I would like to also share some sort of tips and tricks of how to get your child, prep your child to be able to start being interested in meditation and, have the groundwork done, essentially. So we know that anytime we get our children to focus on something new, eat something new, there's always a process. So let's kind of make this meditation process a process in itself. So it's let's just start using words oh, we're gonna learn how to meditate soon. And then they're like, what's meditate, mom? That's one avenue. But you don't need to start meditating yet, but it's just one of those little things. There's several things when it comes to children meditating that's different from adults meditating, is that children are given the freedom to move and to have some sort of physical activity, because they get really wiggly and they get really fidgety. And so to get them to sit still is going to be where the challenge is. So, but it's actually that we're not even going to really get them to do that, or we're going to do it in a way that's appropriate for their age and for their age group and what their capacity is, essentially. So there's going to be three sort of art activities that I'm going to share with you guys that is actually preparatory work. It's things that you need to, that it's good to prepare so the child feels that they have ownership of their meditation practice, and it's something that they've actually invested their time and energy into building, sort of. And so these three art activities kind of are preparatory. They're the building blocks. So the first one, and I'm going to link them all in the comments below so that you have a checklist of ideas to have of and how to do them. So the first is basically an eye mask, creating an eye mask that's super easy. You could use a clean sock and then just put beans, lentils, or rice in it. And maybe you can even make 3 different ones for 3 different periods of time in a day, and then maybe put some essential oils in it so that when they put it on, it smells good. And it's also lavender or sandalwood. Lavender is for relaxation, sandalwood is for grounding and root chakra activity, or any other smell that they really like something that they could wake up in the morning, something that's refreshing, maybe something orange or lemon, something that they enjoy. Make sure they actually enjoy the smell so that when they put it on their face, that's one thing that they're going to be smelling all the time. And so that they have an eye mask for the morning meditation, if they were going to get prepared for a nap, that you could ease them into it, or for the evening, so that there's a process. And one of the purposes of these eye masks is to kind of cover one of their senses, which is their sight. And so that's actually is very helpful for meditation, because when their eyes are open, or they're you ask them to close their eyes, sometimes they peek open, their eyes open, and try to look around and see what's happening. And so that just cuts it off, especially if in a group setting, they'll look at their siblings or their peers and their friends, and they'll just want to play. So that kind of just eliminates one barrier, and it instantly calms them down. Although many children are okay with actually just closing their eyes, but I think this is a really wonderful physical object to have in the house, to be oh, I have a meditation mask, and I have 3 of them with 3 different sort of things inside. This one has rice, this one has beans, whatever is most comfortable, and the weight is also. And so that's an amazing, beautiful art activity to do with your kids. And the second thing is that whilst they're meditating, so in the beginning, when you get a child to like sit down to meditate, usually you tell them to like wiggle out their legs and their toes and their arms and their wrists. So you allow movement as they're beginning. So it's kind of like a natural like transition from like doing whatever hecticness you were doing before to like kind of like easing them into it. So you kind of ask them to release the tension and stuff like that. And then when you're actually beginning the meditation, you begin with like saying that, okay, we're going to be still now, but if you feel that you have any movements that you need to do, you give them parameters in which they can move into. So maybe you'll say something like, you can move your wrists, or you can actually like use your index finger and like just touch all of your fingers with your thumbs as like you're meditating. So this could be like a meditative like posture, or like sort of like movements that they could do, and they could focus their energy and somehow channel it through their body. Or it could be like just wiggling their legs or like moving their hips, something small. So always give them some sort of movement to allow them to parameters in which they can move, but then to come back to stillness that whenever they can. So with that, a good physical thing to have with this movement is that in addition to like different like techniques that you could choose, you could also create like a balloon that has like flour in it and then tie it up in a knot, and then they could use it as like a tension ball. And if this is like an anxiety inducer for parents being like, oh my God, if it rips, like I'm gonna have to clean out that mess, just use like a plastic ball or like any bouncy ball that they have so that they can hold in their hands and kind of like play like have something to squeeze and like have some sort of movement ability that they can do as they're sitting down there to meditate if they're getting a little fidgety. And so the third thing that would be great to like have is that, so for at least the bicentenary meditation recordings, after every meditation of a sacred text, at the end we always ask the children to share their experience with their parents, because many of the sacred texts actually have really difficult words and they might not understand all the words. So you might either before the meditation or after the meditation, definitely after the meditation, to just see how they're feeling, but also maybe go over like, was there anything that they didn't understand, or like how did they feel, like what did they think of the sacred text, like what did they think the meaning was, like how does this apply to their life and their school life and things like that. And so this activity, if it's done within a family where there's like several people, like the mom, the dad, the siblings, all sitting down there together, what would be really sweet to have is like a talking stick or like a talking stone. And both of these things are things that you can just pick up from like a walk and then like come home and like decorate it with like string, or like put like a dream catcher thing on it, on the stick, or like on the stone you could like paint on it. And or maybe like even several stones could be created, like each one with like a virtue on top, like respect, like compassion or something like that. And everyone knows, or you could even use like a crystal, like an Amarythn Crystal, like stone that has like its significance is like love, universal love, and like compassion. And so that's like kind of symbolic that whoever has this stone or this talking stick, they can like share their ideas in a mindful way. So after coming out of that mindful practice, even having like almost like a guided like talk about it. So even when you express your thoughts about it, it's like you're also kind of like leading into it, continuing into that mindful speech and like sharing your thoughts. I just think that's such an amazing idea to have like with a family, like especially in the mornings, like a little huddle, family huddle, or at night, like for bedtime, like everyone get together, like we listen to a meditation. Even the parents sit down to meditate with the child, because you'd be surprised, like 5 minutes of meditation is actually going to be needed for the parent as well. So if this discussion wants to happen, then the whole family could sit down. I know this is like utopic like scenario, and all the parents are like, oh my God, this is going to be chaos. But like, you know, ease into it and be gentle with yourselves and like work within the parameters and allow for movement to like happen. So like the child doesn't always need to be closing their eyes, or maybe everyone lie down on the floor instead of sitting up. There's different options that could be given. And I think, depending on your circumstance, like these are all options that you can explore as a family, and through consultation, actually talking with the child, this time, what would you like to do? And so like kind of like keeping the activities like really fun, and like, you know, using animals and like different symbols if you wanted to guide the child into like a posture, like sit like a frog, or like crouch like a bear, or, you know, like, or whatever their favorite animal is to incorporate that into their meditation practice. So the key is for a child to enjoy the practice. And so it's like, you as the parent, you're the best person. You know what all their favorite things are. Like, I know my nephew like loves like red cars. Like I can't imagine like how that could be incorporated into the meditation, but definitely like thinking of the sound, like what kind of noises does like a car make, and, you know, like what happens with a car when it's not driving, like what does it sound like? And, you know, they could like kind of sort of like mimic what the car would sound like, or whatever it is that they like. If there's any cartoon character, bring that cartoon character within the meditation practice and kind of like build it around them, so that the kids are like, yeah, I want to know what Dora the Explorer would do, you know, like. So I don't think kids watch Dora the Explorer. I'm already like outdated for sure. But yeah, so those are some thoughts on how you can begin to prep your child and have some preparatory work before you get into it, and to ease the child. Just keep dropping like meditation bombs, like, and keep them curious, like, and not really like get them actually down to sit down to meditate, but to be like, okay, well, we're preparing this for our meditation practice and we're doing this. Another beautiful thing to do is actually to get a water bottle and to put like glue and glitter in it. So that's kind of like a meditation bottle, so that they can watch actually the glitter like go down the water, and they can shake it up whenever they're frustrated. It could be, and then they could just like watch like the glitter go down. And that could also be like a simple using like props and like artwork to like kind of creating these things that have actually mindful purposes. So let me know how it goes, and whether or not you thought this was a helpful video, and whether or not it's actually working for your child. What do you know that, or what have you been using already that has been already useful for your kids? I would love to know in the comments below. Please do share the resources, because one of the things that we're doing with the Bicentenary Meditation Project is that we're sharing the scripts, the meditation scripts, to everyone. So it's either parent could just take it off the website, which I will link down below, or like yoga teachers who work with children and who want to incorporate the sacred text into their like yoga classes. Because this is one thing, like usually yoga teachers, they incorporate like visualizations and like sounds and different things, but like not many that I've heard of have actually focused on connecting the sacred text with like children's meditation. And one of the beautiful things about sacred texts that I mentioned in a separate video is that they're kind of like words that are like magnetic. So it's like as if like having like a magnet and like a stone, and giving it to the child, like the sacred words is like a magnet for their soul to just kind of like reach to the heavens, because they're words from like sacred people. So even though many of the sacred words are like really, in terms of language, they're very elevated, but this will also, when you have that sort of like explanation with the child and you sit and consult and talk about it, like what are these difficult words? What do they mean? How are they applied? Then that like kind of elevates the spirit of the child. And like all children should learn big words. Like we should not be afraid to like dumb down our language so that they understand, but it should really be that like we're elevating it. So those were some ideas. If you like this video, please subscribe to my channel, and we have other videos surely on like children's meditation that you can like go check out. Check out how you can contribute to the Bicentenary Meditation Project if that's something that interests you. So yeah, let me know in the comments below what you think. I would love to hear it. Or if you have any other ideas or any tips and tricks, I'm sure all the other parents would be super happy to see them as well. So yeah, I guess I'll see you in the next video.